let me introduce myself a little bit more and provide you with some of my contact info. So as you can see, my email is at the top there. I am a professional development specialist based in North Carolina, and I have worked with adults with special needs as a curriculum specialist in the Fort Lauderdale area. And then before that, I spent several years working with Palm Beach County as a teacher and school and district administrator, mainly for secondary schools. And I'm excited today to show you what's new with the Smart Exchange and how you can use it with your students. So in today's interactive session, I was hoping that you join my Smart Learning Suite presentation. And you do that by opening up another tab and just going to hellosmart.com and entering my class ID of 75472. It'll be easiest if you join me as a guest. So you'll go to hellosmart.com, join as a guest, and use my code to join my class with the ID 75472. And in fact, I'll demonstrate that for you right now. I'll open an incognito tab. And that way you can see how that works. So you're just going to hellosmart.com. You will join as a guest. And that way you can really keep up with everything I'm sharing with you, and there'll be some opportunities for interaction as well. My class code is 75472. And then you would simply put in your name and join as a guest. This will allow you to see my presentation. And I'll minimize this view as well so that you can, if you're just joining us through the Zoom window, you'll just be able to see what we're doing. So I'll have my teacher view on one side, my student view on another. And you'll be able to get lots of lessons from the Smart Exchange, which is what we're talking about today, that you can leverage within Smart Learning Suite Online. And we'll show you how to do that as well. All right, looks like we have a few friends with us, so I will keep going and then we'll get started. So today I wanted to talk to you about resources that are available on the Smart Exchange, which is a website repository of lots of different lessons and activities, and to tell you how to share those resources that you may have made with other educators. To get started, I wanted to engage everyone in something called a Shout It Out, where you contribute a response to a question. Our question today is, what is your favorite thing about teaching? Okay, so consider that. What is your favorite thing about teaching? And I will begin a Shout It Out for us to answer that question. So what is your favorite thing about teaching? As you can see, a text box will appear. And you'll be able to type in your response. So your favorite thing about teaching. I'll say maybe it's connecting with my students, which of course lately has been a little bit more difficult because of our current situation. So let's say I'll send that. You can send up to 3 responses. See, we're getting several up on my screen here. So inspiring students to discover a love of learning is one response. I love that. Also inspiring students to love science. So we have 2 inspirational ones. So maybe I'll put those in a group together. Someone says connecting with students. Getting to see students when they truly get what they're learning. Yeah, that aha moment is so fun to see. Someone loves the way kids see the world, definitely.
I love that one, yes.
Being creative, that's a good one. We have another getting to know students' relationships and connections. And so that's 2 of those that we can kind of categorize together. So one thing I noticed from here is that no one has said that their favorite thing is creating curriculum or lessons. And it might be something you like, But in today's session, we wanted to give you some additional lesson resources, paperwork, just kidding, of course, so that you don't have to spend quite as much of your time focusing on creation when there's just so much out there for you to utilize. So thanks everyone for those responses. So first of all, to actually get to the Smart Exchange, you're simply going to this URL that I've circled here, exchange.smarttech.com. And in fact, I will go there in my second tab here. So you just type in exchange.smarttech.com. And from there, you'll probably want to sign in as yourself, and that way you can access all of the resources that are available as well as contribute resources. So you will simply click the sign in button, and I'm going to go ahead and sign in with Google. If you're a Google district, you would do that. And if you're a Microsoft district, you would do the Microsoft tab. Okay, perfect. So just go ahead and sign in. And then you get full access to this resource. Maybe I can zoom out a little bit on the screen. Okay, perfect. So as I'm here, and I'll just make this one a little bit larger so you can see, there are tons of free classroom resources for you to use. And there's a place where you can search. So you can search for a particular content area, a particular grade level, and a particular subject. If you look down, we also have some featured content, which we update every month, and some fun new activities, even Common Core lessons that you can utilize. So feel free to kind of look around there. And I'll just give you a few minutes to explore the homepage, search and use those filters that I just talked about, and just think within or even outside of your content area for things that might be really useful for your students. Maybe something that would help you connect with students and build those relationships. And you can even find out more about the people who have submitted that content. So I'll go ahead and search for some resources. And feel free to put in the chat what you're looking for. So maybe I'm looking for something about Halloween, because Halloween is coming up and maybe I want to have fun with my students. As far as grade level, maybe I want to look at the kind of the latter primary and middle school grades. And then subjects, I'll leave it as all subjects because Halloween can be sort of content agnostic. So we have lots of different Halloween activities and resources that come up. Let's see, even some in other languages. So if any of these look really good to you, you can click on them to find out more and even get a nice little preview. So this history of Halloween lesson that I'm looking at right now, I can see that there are a few different activities that require devices. There's a video, looks like there's a fun fill in the blank. And there is, oh, this looks like a fun activity where my students would sort the candies they like to the candies that they more so dislike. So favorite to least favorite, perhaps. And then they get to make their own trick or treat bag. So that looks really fun. And if I really like it, all I would do is click Save to SLS Online. You would have to sign in as a teacher if you haven't already. And if you don't have SLS Online, you can always sign up for a free trial. So see if there's anything you like that looks cool. Kind of explore based on your needs or upcoming events that your school might be hosting. And it looks like mine isn't working too well here, but that's okay. Hopefully yours is up and running just fine. I'll give this another go while you guys explore.
Carolyn's looking for ecology lessons for the high school level.
Nice, nice. Yeah, definitely. Just think about the lessons that you would like your students, and even think about things that you might be able to contribute, because you probably have some lessons if you've been using SMART for a while, or even if you've just started. Okay. Now, as you're looking at these different lessons, maybe they're on ecology or maybe they're on something totally different, whatever lesson you find that you might want to use, you actually have two different options. So the first option is to save to SLS Online. Smart Learning Suite Online is what we're using right now. You guys are signed into my class as students. I can see I have 6 signed in students. And I am running my Smart Learning Suite Online lesson from my computer, from literally the internet, right? So if you are a Smart Learning Suite Online user, then definitely check that out. It'll allow you to share that lesson slide by slide with your students. Or if you don't have that, or maybe you want to modify that lesson and add a lot more things to it, you might be best with downloading that lesson, and it would download into a Smart Notebook file. Now, saving to SLS Online is probably the easiest option because it is cloud-based and you don't need special software. But if you download it, then you have to make sure that you do have Smart Notebook software and that you are on a computer. So it's not a Chromebook, not an iPad, but a computer with the software. You can download a trial if you need to. Okay, so those are your two options. So now that we've had a few minutes to kind of explore Smart Exchange, I'd like you to think about what you saw there that is content specific. So it sounds like that ecology lesson that someone might have found is more content specific, but something like Halloween would be content agnostic. So what I'm going to do right now is convert this page for us to a collaborative workspace where we can all contribute some of the things we found and perhaps some ideas that we have using the Smart Exchange. There's only 6 of us joined, so I'll put everyone on one team. And in a moment, you will be able to interact with this page. So you're looking through the Smart Exchange. Anything you find, go ahead and click the text tool, which is the letter A on the left side. Click into where you want to type in what you found and just type that right in. For example, this Halloween lesson, that's agnostic. So that's one thing I have found in the Smart Exchange. Nice. So we have somebody found relationship building activities and goal setting. That's perfect. Yeah, lots of those kind of social emotional learning skills can be built through a lot of the lessons that are posted from teachers all over the world with Smart Exchange. It looks like someone even posted a link to a specific Smart Exchange lesson. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Weekly work habits. Yeah, this looks really fun. Let me see if I can save it to my SLS Online account. We can take a closer look at that. Let's see what others have found. I see another link someone contributed. Someone said multiplication and arrays. So lots of different things, as you can see, from pre-K all the way up to adult education are available in Smart Exchange. And the only thing you really have to think about is whether you want to upload those lessons and use them with Smart Learning Suite Online, which is cloud-based, or if you would prefer to download them and make some extensive editing in Smart Notebook. You just have to see what works best for you. Great. Lots of different ones. Let's see if this one loaded for me. Okay, perfect. Let's start this lesson and see what it looks like. And anything you even import or upload to Smart Learning Suite Online, you are able to edit it to a certain extent. So I probably can't change much of this actual slide, but I can go back and select Edit Lesson. And it's just one slide, so I see that. But what I can do is add anything from Smart Learning Suite Online from my dashboard. So as you can see, we have lots of different things. I can add a new page, a YouTube video, a shout it out like we did earlier. So even though this particular session is not about content creation, it's rather about finding content that others have created, know that anything you find can be modified. And you would just finish editing. So let me see if I can just close this one out. Okay, perfect. So that we can reload this one that I'm on right now. And you'll be kicked out for just a second as it reloads, since I was showing you something a little different. And you should be right back into that workspace that we were doing. All right, sounds like we had some great time to discover things. Hopefully you all found something you could use. Another thing that you might want to consider is what you want to see in that repository of lessons or activities. And something else is, what can you add to the Smart Exchange? What do you have that you think others could greatly benefit from? And maybe it would reduce their planning time or reduce the time that they spend creating curriculum materials. I like to say that Smart Exchange is at the very least useful for getting ideas. So if you're at sort of like a standstill with planning and you want something more creative, you can at least get ideas from there, if not entire lessons. When you do submit, you will be asked for a few different items. So of course you will submit that actual file, and it'll ask you to select the audience and region. So you're thinking about the grade level that the resource would be useful for. If you're a sixth grade teacher, obviously it would be for sixth grade, but sometimes it could even be for fourth or fifth or seventh that it would go well with. You also want to give the standard and the subject and the objective. So we are focused on learning outcomes, and we will want to know what the outcome would be. And then any additional notes that you might want to give a teacher that's using it, maybe some instructions or directions, tips for using that lesson, etc. What you don't want to include is any personal information. So anybody from all over the world can download or upload these lessons to SLS Online for free, as long as they're smart customers. So you don't want to really include any of your personal information. You also really want to avoid using copyrighted material, and of course, inappropriate language. And this is what this page will look like when you share a resource. So you'll simply select the share resource icon, and then you would upload your notebook file. At this time, we're accepting notebook files only. And then you would just fill in all of these items that we talked about, just to make everything easier to search for. So keywords are super, super helpful. I always like to include keywords. Like with that Halloween lesson, I would probably say it's Halloween or October or costumes or trick-or-treating, things like that. Okay, so before I go over the challenge, Casey, are there any questions, or did you want to add anything?
So one of the questions was, so if we want to contribute content to Smart Exchange, those lessons would need to be created in Smart Notebook. And so currently, yes, if you want to add content that you've built, the lessons do have to be built in Smart Notebook. But over time, that's going to shift and change. There's some exciting things that are coming with Smart Exchange and how it works. And hopefully it'll work even more smoothly with our Smart Learning Suite Online content as well. So we will see some shifts over time with that to make things easier for teachers, especially teachers like most of us who are using a variety of tools to create. And I know a lot of us are using Smart Learning Suite Online. And so that allows us to leverage PDFs and Google Slides and things like that with our smart content. So currently Notebook, but hopefully over a bit of time that will shift a little bit.
Awesome. Yeah, great question.
One thing, if you do have Notebook, is you are able to open any of your PDFs and PowerPoints inside of Notebook. You can import them, and then you can add those smart elements as well. So if you wanted to build something to share with Smart Exchange, that's one way that you could do that while still leveraging some of your content too.
Definitely. That's a great idea. Yes, you can definitely import those PDFs too and PowerPoint in Smart Notebooks. So.
Okay, I have another great question that Pat was asking. So it sounds like, Pat, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I don't have this correct, it sounds like you had some slides from Google that you opened in Smart Learning Suite Online, but perhaps you found something in Smart Exchange and you wanted to add those two, kind of combine those two pieces together, is what I think. Yes, so that's what Pat is asking, is, hey, is there a way for her to bring those two pieces together?
So you can't currently really combine lessons that are cloud-based within Smart Learning Suite Online because it sounds like you uploaded a Google slideshow that you had and then you maybe added some things to it. A workaround could be to take screenshots of different slides that you wanted to incorporate and add them that way using blank pages. But of course, it depends on your content area. So otherwise, before you upload a Google slideshow into Smart Learning Suite, ideally, you'd have all of those baseline slides all in one file.
For now.
For now, yeah. Yeah, lots of changes are always happening with Smart. So especially the more comments we hear over time, I think that really drives our improvement. The developers really try to meet the needs of teachers. And so we definitely take a lot of that feedback back to them and we work out the priorities that way.
Yeah. So Pat, if you want to, you are welcome to email Teddy or myself. I'll put both of our emails in there and we're happy to show you a workaround that may work. It depends on what your content is. It may work with what you're doing to kind of pull in something. If it's a game though, right now you could take that same idea that you found in Exchange, but you'd have to build that game yourself because we can't just import it directly in with your Google Slides.
Yep, exactly. Okay, well, if you do have more questions, definitely put those in the chat. I did want to leave you with a challenge, which is to find a resource on Smart Exchange and actually use it with your class. You can use it as is or make some minor changes to it to make it your own. And then also, we hope that after today's session, you'll find some things that you'd like to submit to Smart Exchange so that we can share those with other teachers all over the world and more people can benefit from that hard work that is curriculum creation. Finally, we'll leave you with some resources. So if you're in my class, you'll be able to actually click on this page and it'll take you to a series of links that'll help you. So Smart Exchange, of course, which is what we're talking about today, as well as Smart Exchange support, that it just has helpful information about the platform. And then our teacher guide for the entire Smart Learning Suite, whether you're using Smart Learning Suite Online or Smart Notebook. That way you can really deliver some engaging lessons. And we'd like to encourage you to register for upcoming webinars or even view some of our archived webinars from this Ready, Set, Smart series. And that's all in this resources link that we're sharing with you right now. And then finally, if you're not aware of this yet, we have just launched this really cool virtual always on conference. We call it Smart 360 and you can register for that. And that way you can get to see webinars. Sometimes we have keynote speeches. We have a lot of different things going on. You can read some of our publications and things like that. So definitely register for that. And if you have any questions, we will stay on the line for a couple more minutes. So please put those in. Otherwise, we'll see you next time, hopefully at our next Ready, Set, Smart webinar.
Yes, and I'm going to share the participation of the survey so that you guys can get the certificate link as well. So I'm putting that in the chat right now. So be sure to click on that link, fill out that quick survey, and you will get a link to go ahead and print out your your certificate. The other thing I wanted to share with you, Teddy, is Valerie says that she has some really great lessons to share to Smart Exchange. So I'm hoping we've been talking about wanting to spotlight some teachers and the great work that they're doing and their willingness to share with the community. So I asked her to email us and share when she's posted some to the Exchange so that we could maybe put her in the featured section of Smart Exchange.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you, Valerie. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, guys. And we've been so glad to see you, Terilyn. It was glad to see you coming back and joining us again. I hope you have a great afternoon. And we will be back again next week with another webinar.